Hey guys, we're going to talk about some major red flags that you might come across in your job interviews. These aren't just awkward questions, they are early warning signs about what it's really like to work with a potential employer. Whether you're currently looking for a job or just keeping your options open, knowing these red flags can save you from a lot of issues in the future. From questions about prioritizing work over your personal life to subtle hints that the company might not value or respect your time and effort, we're going to break down what these questions mean and how you can respond to these questions to keep your career in a safe space. First up, how do you feel about working without a formal contract? To me, this is a very big red flag. A formal contract is your safety net. It outlines your role, responsibilities, salary, and protects your rights as an employee. Any hesitation from a company to provide a written contract should raise alarm bells. Always insist on having a formal agreement in place before starting a new role. Next, do you think work should be your number one priority? This question is often asked in high pressure job environments. From experience, companies that value work life balance typically don't prioritize work above everything else. It's important to understand what's expected outside of the regular working hours. Remember, a good company will leave room for personal growth and family time above everything else. And now moving on to, is salary important to you? While this might seem like a trap, it's also revealing something more about the employer. If this question comes up, it could indicate that the company isn't looking to offer a fair salary. Companies should offer you what you're worth based on your experience and the complexity of the role they are hiring for. Asking this question raises concerns around their budgets for the role you are interviewing for. Don't settle for anything less than your worth. Do some research using sites like Glassdoor or Payscale to understand what the market is paying for this role for a candidate with your kind of experience. Another red flag question is, would you be willing to relocate without assistance? Relocating for a job is a major commitment, and if a company values you, they should also support you more financially. This happened to a friend who had to negotiate hard for relocation support. Always ask what kind of relocation package the company offers. Lastly, are you willing to be flexible with your work hours, including evenings and weekends? Now, this question can often lead to a role where the boundary between personal and professional life is blurry. While some flexibility is normal, you need to clarify how often you will be expected to work beyond the typical hours and whether those overtime hours are compensated or not. It will be unfair for companies to ask you to work in the evenings and weekends continuously without compensating you. Not just that, this will need a prior confirmation with you as not everyone can meet these commitments, even though the company pays for some overtime. Not everything is about money. You need to prioritize your personal space and family time as well. So, in addition to these questions that can raise a red flag about the employer, I'd also recommend you to keep a close eye on the general culture and communication style of the employer. If you observe things like ghosting, where you don't hear anything back from the employer for a certain amount of time, and they all of a sudden come back with some questions, or if the employers missed attending the scheduled interview call, or if they keep on rescheduling interview calls without discussing with you first, that would raise serious concerns about the employer you're interviewing for. In all these cases, I'd want you to be very, very cautious. So, each of these questions have shown up in the interviews I've been in or heard about from my colleagues. What I've learned from such questions is to ask in depth queries to understand the employer's real intentions. This can provide clues about whether the company is the one that you'd want to work for. It's not just about landing a job, but finding a place that respects and aligns with your values and needs is the most important thing. If you face these questions, take a step back and evaluate what they imply about the company culture and values. And remember, it's always okay to walk away from a job offer if the signs point to a potentially toxic environment. Good luck.